Now we'll talk more about the death of Tony Nicklinson, who last week lost his right to die case at the High Court. Tony Nicklinson suffered from locked-in syndrome and he was paralysed from the neck down after suffering a stroke while abroad in 2005. His family and his lawyer confirmed that he passed away peacefully at home this morning after contracting pneumonia over the last few days. In a moment we will talk to the British Humanist Association about his campaign. But first, let's hear a little from the family's solicitor. Simon Chahal has been giving a news conference on behalf of the family and gave journalists a few more details.
I'm extremely sad to tell you that I received a call at 10:45 a.m. from Jane Nicklinson to inform me that her husband Tony died peacefully at home at about 10 o'clock this morning. Jane told me that Tony went rapidly downhill over last weekend, having contracted pneumonia. He had made an advance directive in 2004 refusing any life-sustaining treatment and also refused food from last week. Jane said that after Tony received the draft judgment on 12th August refusing his claim, the fight seemed to go out of him. He said that he was heartbroken by the High Court's decision that he could not end his life at a time of his choosing with the help of a doctor. He could not understand how the legal arguments on his behalf could not succeed. When I visited Tony with his barrister Paul Bowen QC on Tuesday 14th August, this is what he said to me. "So, we lost. In truth, I am crestfallen, totally devastated and very frightened. I fear for the future and the misery it is bound to bring. I suppose it was wrong of me to invest so much hope and expectation into the judgment, but I really believed in the veracity of the arguments and quite simply could not understand how anybody could disagree with the logic. I guess I forgot the emotional component." Tony died with Jane and his daughters Beth and Lauren and his sister Ginny beside him. They totally supported his legal action to change the law. One of the last things that Tony did was to prepare a tweet, which his daughter has just released. One question that many of Tony's followers have been asking is what now in terms of the legal action that Tony fought so hard to pursue and the legal principles he hoped to establish. The appeal that he had initiated will come to an end unless someone steps forward in similar circumstances to pursue the action.
So that's the statement from the family solicitor Bindmans. Let's talk now to Andrew Copson, who is the Chief Executive of the British Humanist Association, which, and you, of course, Andrew Copson, and your organisation supported Tony Nicklinson very much in his ultimately unsuccessful legal attempts. First, though, this lunchtime, I wonder whether you'd just reflect on him as a person.
Well, we supported the principle behind his case and supported the policy, but I never met him personally, so I can't do that. Like many other, probably millions of people in Britain, I respected what he was doing as a campaigner, not only for his own rights and the rights of others.
And given that, it's heartbreaking to hear that statement from the solicitor there when she said when she went to visit him, he was clearly, well, crestfallen was one of the words she used, but more than that, I mean, really absolutely devastated by losing that case last week.
Yes, I think that's right. I mean, I think a lot of people, when they heard the news of that judgment, and obviously he himself and his family, were disappointed and also surprised, really, that the law in England and Wales can continue to treat people with such a lack of compassion. I think that most people, most reasonable people, ethically concerned, who have a concern for other human beings in pain and in suffering, most reasonable people would think that a competent adult with a settled decision that they want to end their life should be able to receive medical assistance to do that if their suffering is unbearable, their decision is clear, and they're unable to achieve that act for themselves. And I think continually, in case after case and situation after situation, we see the law in this country fail the test of compassion. people increasingly feel that the law is letting people down. And as medical science advances, and as we're able to keep people alive for longer, not just terminally ill people, but people who are suffering unbearably, these cases are going to become more and more common. And if people of good conscience don't stand up, and very few people do in public life stand up to make the case for compassion on these grounds, if people don't stand up for a change in the law, then more and more people are going to suffer for longer and longer, time and again.
And even though Tony Nicklinson lost that case last week, do you feel he has still achieved a great deal? I wonder how you would assess the impact of what he tried so hard to do in terms of simply public debate and discourse about this.
Absolutely. I think his achievement has been immensely significant. I think any person who is brave enough in what is an experience of incredible personal suffering for them, to turn that experience not only into a quest for justice for themselves, but as a quest to help other people who are suffering in the same way, in the face of what has been really a lot of indifference from organisations and individuals who might be expected to stand up for the rights of people in his situation. Someone who is brave enough and courageous enough to take that stand. And not just that person, but their family as well, who we've all seen, I think, in the media in the last couple of weeks, behaving with incredible dignity and humanity in the face of opposition to their fathers and their husbands' wishes. I think anyone who can take that step really has achieved an awful lot.
Andrew Copson, the Chief Executive of the British Humanist Association, thank you very much.